Welcome to House of Talent Television. My name is Ateng Emmanuel. Wherever you're watching from in the world, it could be morning, could be evening, it could be afternoon. In the UK, they have a saying that any time is tea time, but here on House of Talent Television, we say any time is coffee time. Welcome to the Coffee Break Show this week. Like I said, my name is Ateng Emmanuel. This is House of Talent Television. Remember, you can catch us on our social media handles at HTV1. On Twitter, House of Talent Uganda live stream on our YouTube channel, or you can head up to our Facebook on House of Talent TV Uganda and make sure you catch this show. This is the show that brings you everything about coffee, from the farmers to the baristas to the coffee drinkers to the enthusiasts, anything and everything about coffee. Today in the studio with me is a man who has a wide span of knowledge when it comes to coffee, and not only coffee, when it comes to agriculture, and he is here to share with us his knowledge about the coffee industry. Owen, you're very welcome to the show. It's good to have you here. I know you have a wealth of experience working for Naro. I know that you also went to Israel to do your master's, and the knowledge I believe that you're going to give us here today about coffee is going to help everyone out there. Before we get deep into this show, we're just discussing about there's a thing that we have on the show about coffee myths. Some people think that when you take coffee, ABC happens. But before the show, we're discussing about a myth that I actually hadn't heard about. Okay, in Uganda, they say that coffee was used to make bullets. I don't know how true this is.
From where I come from, in Rwenzori sub-region, it's a childhood myth, and actually some elders still carry it on that coffee is used to make bullets, because basically the farmers didn't know what happens beyond their coffee, beyond after drying, what happens. They say, part of it is in making bullets. It's a myth. You should ask people from Rwenzori sub-region.
That's an interesting one. I'd actually never heard about that myth. I'd heard about other myths, but making bullets, I don't even know how you get from coffee to bullets. But yeah, I mean, those are the things that us as the coffee enthusiasts really need to clear. And I liked how you said that it came from the farmers and they don't know what happens beyond the farm, and I believe that is a good place for us to start at. We have had people on the show and we have basically talked about where coffee begins, from getting the seed, putting it into the ground, from the nursery bed to the farm, then all the way down to the coffee drinker, from tree to cup, as they usually say it. But one of the things that is actually not discussed, is the issues that are faced during that period when the coffee is growing. For example, the different coffee diseases that are there. I know that there are certain baristas, even if you ask them today what coffee diseases exist, they know nothing about them. All they know is their part as a barista. And I believe that this knowledge has to be known by them. So coming from your experience, you've worked in Naro, you've worked in Zadi, and what are some of these diseases that affect coffee, and are there some that are particular to Uganda, or it's a wide spectrum that is just affects coffee around the world?
Well, there are quite many diseases, but some are specific to species. As you know, we have two major economic species. There's Coffea arabica and then Coffea robusta. Diseases like coffee wilt disease are specific to robusta. It will never affect arabica. In Uganda, it doesn't affect arabica. But then there are diseases that are common or prevalent in arabica, like the coffee leaf rust. Not a big problem in robusta. Then there are other like coffee berry disease, coffee red blister. There are many diseases, and this is something that we would like farmers and baristas to understand. Some diseases like the berry disease, red blister, affect the quality. When these diseases affect the cherries, they dry off. But what if someone carries the same diseased cherries and sells them as chiboko? If you don't understand that this is a diseased cherry, you will think it has been dried, yet they stripped it off, mix it with the normal cherries. And it's good to know the disease, it's good to know the pests. It's the basis of the farmer, of farm management. Just like parenting, you need to know when your kid is sick of what, to tell that the kid is sick, then you seek further treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't know the signs of flu, then you
can't treat it.
You think maybe the kid is just sneezing.
Yeah. So
knowing that they are sick, knowing their plant is sick, is one step of seeking further help.
Yeah. So how do we get to know what is the process of, because if I go to the hospital and say, let me say in my mind, I think I have malaria, okay? But the doctor basically has to go through a diagnosis. They'll take some blood here, they'll take a urine test there, and at the end of the day, they will verify whether I actually have malaria or not, okay? So what is that process in coffee where you get to know which kind of disease is affecting a certain kind of coffee?
Okay, first is understanding them, is having regular talks with the extension workers, the researchers, and people who understand the diseases. A disease like coffee wilt disease, the most common, obvious symptom is dieback. Dieback is when your coffee dies from the head, that tip, it dies going down. Because coffee wilt disease is caused by fungi. Now the fungi will block nutrients and water from going up the tree.
Yeah.
That means the farthest is the one that is going to die.
Yeah.
The farthest will die and dies like that.
All the way down.
Dieback. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the commonest disease. But coffee wilt disease that does not have obvious symptoms on the cherries.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other diseases like red blister and then berry disease, they have obvious symptoms because they are specific to cherries.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a few symptoms on the leaves. Coffee leaf rust, your coffee will rust, and this is important for Arabica farmers. The coffee will have some rust under the leaf. When you turn your leaf like this, you'll see a rust.
Yeah.
Just like rust. Yeah.
Okay, so imagine I'm a farmer. Okay, I have my farm. I believe in my mind that everything is going well. Okay, then you, as Naro, come and tell me, you know what, your plants have such and such a disease. These are the symptoms. Okay, so what is the process that we would go through, okay, to help me in such a case? Because I know that there are very many farmers who actually have no idea. Okay, sometimes they say, oh, I'm cursed.
Yeah, that's another myth.
That's another myth. Okay, so sometimes I think it's a curse. So a neighbor of theirs was jealous, went to the witch doctor, and cursed their plants. But in the event that my plants, let's say, are sick, okay, what is the next step in treatment? Okay,
first, now you've seen unusual, mishap in your field.
Yeah.
Narrow does not do extension.
Okay.
But usually reaches out to the farmers because narrows, I'm not speaking for narrow, but the narrow mandate stops at dissemination. Tech development and dissemination.
Yeah.
The NADS and OWC pick it up from there because their mandate is to do extension.
Yeah.
Now, but doesn't stop me from telling you that your coffee is sick or another expert, we have NGOs that also do extension to tell you that, yeah, your coffee is sick. So after that, but you've also seen the symptom. Then you seek expert help.
Yeah.
The expert will tell you whether you need to spray, or you need to cut, or you need to use culture methods, or inorganic sprays or organic sprays.
Yeah.
If you know it, you can take it upon yourself. If, let's say, you've had an experience with the disease and it has resurfaced, you can use the previous, treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the most important thing I'll emphasize on is seek expert help. Before you buy a chemical, you need to know, is this the right one? Am I going to use it right? So that you don't waste your money or you don't pre-expose yourself to, something that could be dangerous to you. Or you're trying to spray coffee wilt disease with a fungicide, and yet this disease is inside.
Yeah.
The fungi is inside. We call it the xylem and phloem. That is where the fungi is. But you're spraying the leaves and all that. It may not help. You're wasting money. You're also exposing yourself to these chemicals.
True.
So it's best you seek expert knowledge. If you don't understand, if you know a farmer who has had an experience with the same disease, ask them. Consult widely.
Yeah.
Have second and third opinions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I'm to seek expert help, okay, I believe that there are certain avenues that I have to follow. There are certain organizations where I can seek this help. So what are some of those organizations that as a farmer I can go to?
First is NARO.
Yeah.
I'm not being biased because I've been working with NARO, but first is NARO because it's NARO that generates the technologies, generates the control measures, the varieties, and disseminates them.
Yeah.
Then there's NADS. NADS has a League of Extension Workers.
Mm.
There's UCDA now. UCDA controls the coffee industry, regulates the coffee industry, and they are the best people to reach out to. UCDA has extension workers actually in almost every coffee growing region. Yeah. Then there are other NGOs that are specific to coffee or specific to agriculture extension. Other NGOs like TechnoServe. Then there are private companies that are into coffee but also do extension because you know it's a win-win. Yeah. You don't want farmers to lose. You are cutting off your supply. So some private companies have taken it upon themselves to offer extension services. Yeah. So ask widely, but don't rely so much on Twitter or Google because you may end up getting a recommendation for Vietnam thinking it will work in Uganda. So Google, but also ask, reach out to the experts. Yeah. You know.
Okay, you talked about UCD, the UCDA there, and I've heard from a couple of people that every time they have tried to approach UCDA, they did not get help, okay? And they're of the view that, you know what, since UCDA can't help us, we're going to do this by ourselves. How true is that? Does UCDA actually, in their mandate to regulate coffee in Uganda, actually help these people, or there's a lot of bureaucracy and red tape that goes into this, that by the time you actually get the help, maybe you've lost the morale? So does UCD actually help?
UCD is supposed to help, and I know some farmers that have been helped. Yeah. First, they are the first years in case there is an outbreak of a strain disease. You have to reach out to UCD or to NADS. They help, but usually they help organized farmers, and it's like, I'm a UCD extension worker. I'm not speaking for them. I'm a UCD extension worker. You found me in Kampala. You're telling me about a disease that is in Masaka. I cannot understand it, and I don't have even means of facilitation to go there. Yeah. So I'll direct you to the nearest extension workers. Yeah. So when farmers don't understand, don't get to access, help within their location, they'll say, I wasn't helped. I'm just trying to imagine. And also sometimes it's easier to work with organized farmers. Let's say you're an association, then you invite UCD extension worker. You can come. You're 20 farmers, 100 farmers. Yeah. That's a bigger platform. Yeah. Because they're also underfunded. Yeah.
I like the way you say that UCDA is supposed to help.
Yeah, they are supposed to help. Yeah, because they regulate the industry. Yeah. And now with the Coffee Act, they have more powers.
Yeah, I think that brings me.
That's what they have always wanted, and they have it.
Okay, we're going to get into a break right now, but